Ethan Gray was one of the most respected millionaires in the city, a man who had everything the world could offer except the one thing he longed for most, the laughter of his children. His twin boys, Liam and Noah, were born with a rare condition that left them paralyzed from the waist down and unable to speak. Despite the best doctors, therapists, and hospitals money could buy, nothing changed. They sat in their wheelchairs, eyes dull, lips silent, their little hands limp. Ethan's mansion was grand, but inside it lived only silence and sorrow. His wife, Grace, had left 2 years ago, unable to bear the pain. Since then, Ethan drowned himself in work, trying to escape the emptiness that echoed in every corner of his luxurious home. One rainy morning, a young woman named Clara knocked on the mansion door. She looked simple, neatly dressed, a warm smile on her face, her eyes filled with a kind of light Ethan hadn't seen in years. "I came about the maid position," she said softly. Ethan's housekeeper had recently retired, and Clara had been sent by an agency. Something about her calm voice and humble confidence made Ethan agree to hire her instantly. He never imagined that this decision would change his entire life, and the lives of his sons, forever. On her first day, Clara quietly observed the twins. While everyone treated them like fragile glass, she sat beside them, talking gently as if they could understand every word. "You're not broken," she whispered, "you're just waiting for someone to listen to your heart." The nurses found her strange. She would hum lullabies, move their stiff hands, massage their legs, and tell them stories about brave knights and magical worlds. Ethan, passing by her room one evening, saw her kneeling beside the twins, holding their tiny fingers and whispering, "One day, you'll stand." "I believe it." He smiled sadly. She was kind, but he'd learned not to believe in miracles anymore. Days turned into weeks, and something unexpected began to happen. Liam, the quieter twin, started to blink more purposefully when Clara spoke. Noah's fingers twitched during her singing sessions. The doctors dismissed it as reflexes, but Clara refused to believe that. She kept working with them every day, stretching their legs, moving their arms, and talking as if they were normal boys. She told Ethan stories about how love can wake a sleeping soul. Ethan listened politely but didn't let himself hope. Until one morning, everything changed. Clara was playing with small wooden blocks in front of the twins, teaching them colors and sounds. She clapped twice, saying, "CLA, CLA," encouraging them to mimic the sound. To everyone's astonishment, Liam's lips moved slightly. Then, with trembling effort, a tiny sound escaped, "CLA." Clara froze. Tears filled her eyes. "Yes. That's it. You can do it," she cried. Ethan, hearing her shout, rushed into the room. When he saw his son trying to form a word, he dropped his coffee in shock. For the first time in 4 years, one of his children had made a sound. The next day, Noah followed. Their progress was slow, but every tiny word was a miracle. News spread quickly. The doctors couldn't explain it. "It's medically impossible," they said. But Ethan didn't care. For the first time, he was hearing laughter, clapping, and the faintest words of his sons echoing through the mansion. Clara had become more than a maid, she was their angel. Ethan asked her what she had done. She smiled and said, "Sometimes, all a broken soul needs is to be seen, not treated." He realized then that all his money, all his wealth, had never bought what Clara had freely given: love, patience, and faith. Months later, the twins began to move their legs slightly. They couldn't walk yet, but the doctors confirmed their nerves were reawakening. Ethan cried silently in the hospital hallway. He had spent millions searching for cures, yet the true healer had been a humble maid with a heart full of compassion. Clara continued to care for them daily, teaching them to pronounce small words, celebrate tiny victories, and believe they were not limited by their past. One evening, as the sun set and golden light filled the living room, the twins, now able to sit up, looked at Clara and said clearly, "Thank you." Clara wept, holding them close. Ethan watched, unable to speak. He walked over, knelt beside her, and said softly, "You've done the impossible. You've given me my sons back." Clara looked up at him and replied, "No, sir. They healed themselves. I just reminded them how to try." The mansion that once echoed with silence now overflowed with laughter and life. Ethan no longer buried himself in work. He spent evenings playing with his boys, reading stories, and watching Clara teach them to walk step by step. Every day felt like a second chance at life. When reporters asked him about the miracle, Ethan simply said, "Money built this house, but love built my family again." And so, the woman who came as a maid left an unforgettable mark, not only in their home but in their hearts. The twins would grow strong, speak fluently, and eventually walk proudly into their future, holding Clara's lessons deep within them. Ethan finally understood, miracles aren't always found in hospitals, sometimes, they arrive in the form of a gentle soul who believes when no one else does.